So today I'm going to be showing you how to do stranded colour work with crochet, similar to what you would find in knitting. Now the benefits of this is that you get less ends to weave in. As you can see, I've only got 2 active ends here at the top. And although I did have to join some yarn because I was using scraps, only a few ends at the bottom. Equally, unlike tapestry crochet, your background colour is significantly less visible on your motif on the front. Now, because I've chosen very contrasting colours, it's never going to be 100% invisible, but instead of getting the long lines of pink showing through my work on every row, you'll just see the occasional spot of pink peeking through, which will be even less obvious once I have finished the project and properly blocked and prepared it. Now technically you should work your stranded colour work all the way to the end of every row if you want to keep things perfectly even, but because this is going to be a cushion cover, it's going to be stretched anyway, it's going to be blocked, and so in order to save yarn, I've only taken the white up to the edges of the motif instead of the very edges of the square. One of the most important things that you can do to save yourself a headache whilst doing this is to add a stitch marker to the right side of your work. Now you might think this is fairly obvious because you've got all those little strands going on at the back, but it's just an extra visual cue to say leave your ends on the other side. Do not bring them forward because they will be more visible. Now to demonstrate how I create these lovely strands of colour work. So I'm starting with the pink, and as I said, technically I should have taken the white all the way to the end, but I'm being a little bit lazy. And I'm going to start with my 4 pink stitches. Now, as with any change of colour, I'm changing when there are 2 loops on the hook in order to make it less visible. And because this is the right side of my work, I want the white to start from the back of my work. So I'm making sure that it goes around this way. I'm dropping my pink tail to the back again because I don't want it to show. And I'm going to change to white. Next I need, let's have a look, 13 white stitches. So I'm going to start doing my 13 white stitches. Now as you're doing it, be careful not to accidentally grab the stranded colour work from the previous row because you are trying to keep it as invisible as possible. Now you can choose how often you want to pick up your strands. You could leave them very long, but I find that causes more issues with tension for myself. I like to keep them fairly short. So every 5 stitches I will put my hook through, loop over the pink from the back. Where's my end gone? There it is. And don't worry about your tension too much at this point, and then finish that stitch. And as you can see, it's barely visible. So I'm now going to continue with my white stitches until I get to the next 5th stitch. So 3, 4, so 5, put your hook through, bring your colour from the back over your hook and crochet over it. Now I want a total of 13 white stitches, so 11, 12, 13, and just like before, you're going to bring up a loop so you've got 2 loops on your hook, drop your colour to the back. Now before you start crocheting with your pink, make sure that you are happy with the tension here. Now if it's too tight, just give it a little stretch. If it's too loose, give the pink a little tug to tighten things up. Then you are going to go back and make that pink go through. You can then tighten up your white as necessary in order to make your stitches nice and even. Now the important thing here is to make sure that the loops on your back of your work are not too tight, because that will make your work wrinkle up like this, which makes it very hard to even out at the end. Equally, if they're too loose, you might find that your stitches become very loose in places when blocking, so your tension's not even. But equally, when you're putting your hook through, it will be much easier to accidentally pick up these back loops, which will lead to it being visible on the front of your work, which is what we're trying to avoid. So next I want 5 pink stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exactly like before. So on my 5th stitch, normally I would pick up the white, loop it over, crochet over and carry on, but I only want 5 stitches. So I'm going to leave it, bring up my 2 loops, drop my pink, pick up my white, and then make my colour change and make sure that the tension is not too tight before I carry on and make some white stitches. Now again, I can just gently pull on my pink in order to even out that stitch there. So you've seen how it works when I'm going across the right side of my work. Meet me when you get to the end of your row to see how it works on the other side. Okay, so I've reached the end of my row and I'm about to chain 1 and turn to go back the other way. So this time, again, my row starts with 4 pink stitches. And when I change colours this time, I'm going to drop the pink towards me because I want to keep all the ends on the back of my work. Pick up my white, make sure again that I don't pull too tight, and pull through that loop. Next, I need 12 white stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm about to make my 5th stitch, so I want to pick up that pink. So I'm going to move it across where I want it, put my hook through, remember the pink is on top, and then crochet over it and then drop the pink again. Again, I'm on my 5th stitch, pull the pink across, loop it in and carry on. Now this is my final white stitch before I change colour, so I'm going to drop the white underneath and I'm going to even up the tension on my pink before I pull it through those 2 loops to change colour. Make sure that white end is out of the way before you carry on and do your pink stitches. So again, coming up to my 5th stitch here, pick up my white, make sure it's on top of my hook when I go through the loop, and then make my stitch. And this is how you carry on going backwards and forwards doing stranded colour work.